Well, hello there.
How's it going, Larry?
Good, and you are?
My name is Cruzito Herrera Cruz, and I'm running for Santa Barbara City Council.
Well, thank you for having us.
Welcome in. Remember that tree trunk I had?
On your last tour, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now it's a beautiful drum for Danza Azteca, so I want to see show Santa Barbarians that it's a drum, and it goes a little something like this. Dulce madre mía, como tú lo ves, canto mi alegría, postrado a tus pies. Dulce madre mía, como tú lo ves, canto mi alegría, postrado a tus pies. Hey.
Very nice. So, Cruzito, where are we now?
Well, we find ourselves here located at Santa Barbara Courthouse Law Library. My name is Cruzito Herrera Cruz, and the reason I'm running for Santa Barbara City Council and for the voters to go out and vote for Cruzito Herrera Cruz November 8th is for the reason that I believe that all Santa Barbarians should respect democratic principles and the idea of equalitarianism, where everybody in Santa Barbara, all Santa Barbarians should be treated equally under the law and under this Constitution. The Constitution Article 2 of Section 1 says, all political power is inherent in the people. Government is instituted for the protection, security, and benefit, and they have the right to alter or reform it when the public good may require it. I think if we look at it and look at the polity at this moment, there's an over-representation of one community and no representation of the particular community that I would like to strive for to represent. Well, Larry, we're here at the Law Library, and why this document is so important, the Constitution of the United States and the 14th Amendment of the Equal Protection Clause, is that the political minority in our community's right to vote in the Santa Barbara City Council race is unconstitutionally impaired. We are at a standstill of having no representation, so be it that we live in an at-large district and the vote dilution happens, the interjection that district-based elections would basically allow us an opportunity to have some form of representation under the Elections Code, California Votes Writings Acts of 2001.
Currently, are there any Latino city council people?
There is 0 candidates of Latino descent or Mexican-American culture. No Americans that are of that ethnicity. The California Votes Writings Act of 2001, located in Elections Code 14,025, states that a political minority cannot or does not have political remedies for issues, and this is why it's important, which I'll address in a couple minutes. But why? Because of the future implementation of policies that benefit the public and the public welfare fail to exist or fail to be implemented or initiated by the past predecessors. We look at Elections Code 14,026 under district-based elections is very important. And why district-based elections is important? Because voters get the ability to choose who their representative is, give them the determination and the power to elect their representative, and that representative is going to be accountable and have some form of transparency to their voting constituents within their respective political districts. What we're looking at here is the Redevelopment Agency of the City of Santa Barbara, History of Tax Increment Revenues. We look at 1977, which basically pulled in $747,560,000. We're going to estimate all the way to 2019 what we're going to be generating, if we look at it. That's $453,949,472. What that money basically reflects is 30 years of Santa Barbarians investing in that tax community and generating commerce, generating business. So I want to thank you for creating that economic engine. We focused all our attention in this corridor, which is the Santa Barbara Central City Redevelopment Project area, since the 1970s to the present day. In about a couple years, the redevelopment community law is going to be expiring, and future city council members are going to have to take leadership. They're going to have to make characteristics that show that the West Side community has conditions of blighted areas. is predominantly urbanized. It constitutes possibly serious physical and economic burdens on its residents and on the youth. We look at the conditions on the Milpas area. There's physical and economic blight under Health and Safety Codes 33,031. Some buildings are unsafe. There's conditions that we need to prevent. For example, economic conditions that cause blight, depreciated property values, abnormal high business vacancies, which we have on the Milpas corridor. We have serious residential overcrowding, which is a significant public health and safety concern. Overcrowding under California Codes of Regulations is important because of the lack of equitable housing or low-income housing being built by the city, and none of our leadership presently has taken the stance to build such policies for residents that are hardworking. We look at excess bars in this community, a high crime rate on the Milpas area. These are all conditions of blighted areas under Health and Safety Code, and this is why it's important for the future City Council to rehabilitate our communities now. Now that we have rehabilitated the business community for tourism dollar, now let's invest into our neighborhood. What you see here is the original city clerk's filing of the City of Santa Barbara's gang injunction, March 14, 2011, case number 1379826. I definitely have a couple concerns against this document and the policies and the unconstitutionality of what it's going to cause in the future and the taxpayers' cost also. Well, what you have here is the actual safety zones of Santa Barbara if a gang injunction would be held over by the court. Yeah, Larry, and so coming back to the idea of a gang injunction that is not merited nor legally needed in this community, what happens here is this community is going to be inundated once again with more police enforcement and harassment, and also on the Milpas area, where in Health and Safety Code it specifically states that we cannot police our way out of a social service problem in our community. And if we look at the budget of the city, we're going to see is that it's going to be top heavy, and let me just make a reference to that right now. And so what the problem is with such measures that we have is that this whole yellow pie chart is related to 32.7 to police, and criticizing the budget allotments is something that we have to take leadership and really focus on developing and instilling more percentage in the community development grant, more for the fire department, more for parks and recreation, because this is important. This is where our youth activities is coming. We need to invest more money in the parks and recreations, and also we need to have the infrastructure within our city of public works also increased and reprioritize our budget. Thank you, Larry. Well, in wrapping up and a summary of what we talked about, we definitely want district-based elections under 14,026 3B Elections Code. We also would like a new community redevelopment law and rehabilitating and revitalizing the West Side, East Side community as law. And we also would not like a gang injunction. So on the legal merits of the unconstitutionality of all those principles, the lack of representation, we need to get involved, get engaged. Vote for Cruzito Herrera Cruz on November 8th, or mail your ballot in. Thank you, Larry Nimmer. Thank you, the Women's of League of Women's Voter. Gracias, ama.
Good luck to you, Cruzito.
Thank you. Oh, Mateo.